Hi, I'm Steve Mignonti, indoors because it's still frozen outside. The junkyard has got about an inch or 2 inches of frozen snow. Can't really get out there. A couple days from now, it'll be about 50 degrees. We can get back into it when the snow thaws. So until then, let's examine a Plymouth Road Runner model by JoHan. Now, the first JoHan Road Runner model came out in '69, a year after the real Road Runner came out in '68. The world's first $3,000 muscle car, American muscle car, meant to be purchasable by a person, a younger person, a high school kid, was a good part-time job, could make the money to buy a $3,000 Road Runner on payments. But again, it was meant to appeal to kids. The youth market was exploding in the '60s, and so was the model car kit market as well. And so to get a piece out of that, JoHan debuted the 1969 Roadrunner model kit right here. This is a re-release. The original box had a different art on it, but with that said, same plastic inside. Nice plastic. The bodies on these things were really good, nicely rendered, as most every JoHan kit was. Really sharp. It says Roadrunner right there on the door. Very correct. And on the back, Roadrunner once again here. In Plymouth, I believe. So a great little model. The only thing that was not so good about JoHan models was the chassis. They had sort of a promo-style chassis with the suspension and the exhaust baked in, molded in place, integrally molded, and there it is right there. Not very realistic. So what I did for years, was take an MPC Dukes of Hazzard chassis, like we see here, and put it under the JoHan body for more realism. You can even bake in some steering wheels. This is JoHan turbine car stuff that I hot rodded to make steerable, and the Dana 60 out of an AMT Ford pickup truck kit. Make your own leaf springs, dual exhaust, like the Jimmy Addison Silver Bullet, the 4-muffler setup right there. And I call this one the Silver Bullet. This was in Scale Auto Enthusiast magazine years ago, but I built this in like 1986, 7, something like that. And it was a lot of fun to build that. But again, I utilized the MPC chassis to get away from this and give it more realism. So moving up 1 year to 1970, the Roadrunner kit was continued, and here's a 1970 GTX. So it was also a Roadrunner, but this is the GTX variant of that same basic tool. And you can see that the body shell itself was modified to reflect the 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner body. You can see the side vents right there were added to the '69 shell, and very realistic. And even the back, the taillight treatment was modified and upgraded from 1969 to '70. Right here, it's different. Even the fronts were different. And the beautiful thing about this kit is it has a funny car variant. You could build this thing with a tube frame funny car with this interior chassis insert right here. And the cool thing about this too is that the air grabber hood, the air grabber is actually there. It's not, it's in the tree right now, but it even says HEMI on the back of the bulge on the hood right there. So the Hemi right there, on lesser Roadrunners, that would say either 383 or 440, but HEMI is the Hemi Roadrunner right here. And this kit has lots of cool parts and pieces. And again, supercharged Hemi, here's all the bits and pieces still on a tree. And the frame, it's a Logie Brothers style wide frame right here, but all this stuff could be built up. Now, the thing of it is, the only funny car Roadrunner that I know of was Fred Goski's 1969, the Plymouth Dealers Association orange car. And this ain't that. It's sort of fictitious car, if it were. But the side of the box does show the Plymouth Dealers Association, kind of a tribute to Fred Goski's car. And that was a '69 Roadrunner, not a '70 GTX, similar but not the same. And on this side here, that's the super stock version of the same model. And the super stock version just meant different wheels. Krager SS wheels, I believe, slicks on the back. And I believe fender wall headers were another thing that could be, yeah, here they are right here. Kind of funny. The fender wall headers right here, it says to make the super stocker, you had to take the chassis and trim out a section for these to come through, the fender walls right here. This is from the '64 JoHan Dodge right here, first seen on that kit. And the spot you would have to cut to make them go through. Here, right, you can see sort of the webbing right there. That's the spot. To cut a rectangle in that to let those fender wall headers go through. Not very realistic for a 1970 GTX Super Stalker, but for a 1964 Dodge it was. But it also speaks to the fact the same chassis, this plate was used in '64 under the Ramchargers Dodge, as well as almost all the other B-body Mopars by JoHan, continuing up to 1970 right here. But again, 1970 also brought the Plymouth Superbird, which was the Roadrunner with a nose and a tail. And here's one built up right here. And you can see that it's very similar to the GTX and Roadrunner. And again, the side bits right here, the little vents added for 1970, seen on all of them. But of course, the Superbird had the Dodge Corvette's front fenders and the metal nose, and of course an extruded aluminum tail. And once again, the accursed JoHan chassis on this one here. Somebody built this, I bought it on eBay, but the chassis has the integral exhaust system molded into it. Kind of a bummer, but anyway, nice little model. And here's one in the original box right here, molded in petty blue, kind of a nice thing right there. A great thing. And another variation of this same kit was the Sox and Martin Superbird, which never existed. Well, it did. Let me correct myself. So here it is here, molded in white plastic this go around. And kind of a neat little piece right here, molded in white plastic. Now here's the thing. There were two Hemi Superbirds built for pro stock racing or super stock racing in 1970. Jack Wurst had one and Sox and Martin had the other one. Fairly successful cars. The bottom line was the weight of the wing on the back made them more competitive in super stock D, I think it was, where Ray Alley had an LS6 Chevelle 454 convertible. And the idea was to go chase after him, take him out of the race, and that's where this Superbird came into play. I think it knocked Ray Alley's Super Sport Chevelle SS 454 LS6 car out of the running. I think I may be wrong with that, but this was meant to take him out. So kind of a cool thing. And as a kid, I like to play around with history. And of course, the altered wheelbase thing was over with by 1970 when I built when this thing would have existed. I built this thing about 1987, something like that. And I was in college at the time, so 86, 84, something like that. But I put a blower on. And I used, the MPC chassis under this one because the JoHan chassis was a stinker. So I put my own rear suspension, live axle up front with leaf springs, and again, a supercharged Hemi out of the Gene Snow funny car kit. Kind of a cool, like, what if altered wheelbase 43 Richard Petty match racer from the day. And once again, we have to pay tribute to the AMT 65 Coronets. This kit right here, which is actually engineered by MPC, which stands for Model Products Corporation, and they leased or sold the tooling to AMT Aluminum Model Toys to produce these things here. But that chassis right there lived on for decades under almost every MPC B-body Charger, Coronet, you name it. That's the chassis right there that would rob from those things and use them under here to get more realistic chassis on these things. So ignore the phone, that's all good. But anyway, that's the story of 1969 and 70 Plymouth Road Runners, courtesy of JoHan. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time.